our guests tonight, State Representatives Hannah Kane and Kate Donahue, who are here for a presentation for our big farewell trustees, James Holmes and Karen Penn. Thank you for joining us tonight. Great. Can I have you guys all four of you come up this way?
Yes. We're very glad to be able to come here tonight together. We wanted to recognize your amazing service to the library. I grew up in libraries. My aunt and uncle were both librarians, one at the South Portland Library in Maine and the other at the Portland Library. And my grandmothers were both lived in Yarmouth. Neither had their driver's license, but both could walk to the library. So literally, if it wasn't one day at one library, it was one day at another. And I've always had just the strongest appreciation for librarians and the staff in libraries, but also for the trustees who really serve. And I think it's like a calling, you know, and clearly your 15 years and your 30 years, over 30 years, right, is something that you felt passionate about and you gave so much. So we wanted to come here tonight and acknowledge you and thank you for it. I'm actually going to present on behalf of Senator Moore, who couldn't be here tonight, but wanted to be citations, and then Rep. Donahue will present the ones actually from us. To Karen, this is an official Senate citation, and it's in recognition of your 15 years of public service with appreciation for your dedication to the residents as you step down from the Westborough Public Library Board of Trustees. It is signed by the Senate President Karen Spilka and Senator Michael Moore, and again, congratulations on their behalf, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And James, this is a Senate citation for you, and it says, in recognition of your 30 years of public service with appreciation for your dedication to the residents as you step down from the Westborough Public Library Board of Trustees. And again, the Senate President and Senator Michael Moore offer their congratulations and gratitude for your work. Thank you. That's for you. I'll let my colleague here.
Well, I wanted to echo what Rep. Kane said, but as I'm looking around people, and Jim and I were talking about it a minute ago, some of you know me as that awful person who's inviting you to a candidates forum. And there were people who would say, I really want to be on library trustees, I just don't want to be on your forum. And, you know, like, what's the big deal? Fast forward and suddenly I'm a candidate. And it's like,
you realize how awful it is.
And then suddenly it's like, yeah, I think I have a better appreciation for why people were so nervous about being on a candidates forum, especially once we started televising them. So I just wanted to acknowledge that to all of you who might have gotten that dreaded call from me that you were being invited to take part in the candidates forum. And I thank all of you who took part, and I would tell people, you know, it's not a command performance. If you don't want to come, that's okay, especially if you're unopposed. So, and it's interesting to see how things have changed in terms of the campaigns for library trustees. Who would have thought that library trustees were going to be some of the hottest races in town? So with that, I want to offer this to Karen. This is from the House of Representatives in recognition of your tenure as library trustee for 15 years of dedicated service to the Westborough community. And it's presented by Ron Mariano, Speaker of the House, Hannah Kane, Rep. Kane, my colleague, and by me.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So Thank you.
And it's the same thing for Jim. From the House of Representatives, given this 27th day of March, I hope you got the date right, 2024, signed by Ron Mariano, Rep. Kane, and myself. Congratulations. And I did want to just take a quick second to congratulate the people who are newly going on the committee and for Janine for her re-election. So welcome to the library trustees, and welcome back, and thank you all for your service.
Thank you.
Can I get a picture?
Just take a picture.
Sure.
If you want to hold the...
No, I don't think we're done. We'll get on one side.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
And you can hold the House citation up, since we're the people who are here.
Oh, that's great. That's a great idea.
And actually, why don't we do one with the Senate citations that we can send to Mike Moore?
Oh yeah, good idea.
You're so good at that.
Everybody just keep smiling.
And then can we get one with Maureen?
Yes.
Yes.
Pop right there.
Right.
And now with the president. There you go.
You're good. No, you're good.
Mary, come on, Mary.
And we do a pyramid with the whole group.
Who goes on the shoulders?
I would take a picture of that one.
Ready? All right.
Thank you very much.
And Karen and Jim, will you stay up here for a moment? Thank you so much for taking your time to be here with us tonight.
Thank you for the invitation. And thank you again all for your service.
I'm from Maine.
I'm from Brunswick.
Oh, I'm from Porter. Where were you?
And Karen and Jim, we just wanted to take a moment to recognize you on behalf of us and certificate from your trustees for all your years of service. Thank you so much. Karen, for dragging me into this in the first place.
Thank you. Can we get a please?
Absolutely, taking me into work. Prosperity.
Let me get one. Maureen, one more crank command performance.
Okay. Can you see it, Karen?
Thank you so much for coming.
For squeezing us in.
Glad we were able to
Let me get Maureen in there. Here, go this way so we're not
Not so
looking at the
much.
stupid screen. This is really
That's such a big deal for me to come here, but both of that's on one night.
Maureen, you too.
Maureen.
Okay, you can sorry.
So that you never know that kids. I told Carolyn, I said, chuck her cake, Dee. She's like, okay, Dee. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Good that you guys have been.
Good to see all of you.
I know, that was one of the
Thank you for bringing
in all the years, that was one of the best parts.
That's the parts of bringing us on this
To keep in
very
touch.
memorable ride.
We're still here for you guys.
We appreciate it. And congratulations to the newly elected members, and congratulations on passing the vote that went through.
Thank you for all your work on that. And so, with the thanking and honoring of those leaving, I want to congratulate and welcome those who have joined us. Welcome to the board and welcome back. Congratulations. I look forward to working with all of you. All right. I'm sorry?
No, I just thought there was another one.
So, yeah, Ed is traveling and Dot is traveling as well. So, actually, Ed might be calling in, but he's traveling through Kansas, so depending on connectivity, we'll see if we have time. So that brings us to Director's Report, Comment Box Feedback. I've asked Maureen to please pull the month's comment box feedback so we could go over it if there is any.
There is none.
Okay, fabulous.
May I ask a question? In general, in the minutes, do you want me to list the specific feedback that we were? I didn't.
You could put topics, like,
Okay.
you could just put what the topic line is.
Okay,
It would be
sounds good.
sufficient.
So there was nothing in the.
Okay, thank you. So that brings us to town meeting recap / building repair project. I think we were all there. I think it was amazing. We are very fortunate to have had our project pass, and so we're heading into the next phase. Getting that work underway. The library building committee met yesterday to just start getting things going. Do we have any questions about the next steps for now? There's not a ton to report since last week, since Saturday. But
So I had to go to the building committee meeting yesterday, so what was the topic of that meeting?
just congratulations about it in general. There was a little bit of conversation about contracting. Maureen, is that correct? Contracting, moving forward, which steps come next. It was pretty quick in general. Just because work hasn't quite yet begun on that, but will be shortly.
Okay.
And then-
When is the next meeting? Do we know?
The next meeting, it's our regularly, we don't have any in between, it's our regularly scheduled meeting.
Except it's going to be a
A
week earlier.
Yep.
Because the following week, on April 30th, we have a meeting with the Disabilities Commission in town
Oh, right, okay.
that meets at the same time we do. So
The next
we're-
one is April 23rd.
April 23rd.
And that's the building or the regular?
That is the regular library building committee meeting.
At 3:30.
And that is at 3:30 on Zoom.
And the following week, The library building committee, LBC, we'll go with that, we'll be meeting with who?
Disability Commission.
The disabilities, the town's Commission on Disabilities.
Which the topic of that will be the front entrance. So we wanted to get that work started now, because that'll be an important unknown of the project, is the front of the building. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to Ed, because he did a fantastic job in his presentation, and building watch, that was really great, so. Yeah. Any questions about that? The recording of the library building committee meeting will be up online in the Google.
Probably tomorrow.
And you can take, it was a quick one, relatively.
Yeah. And I didn't really know how to put this on the agenda for tonight, because I didn't know at the time when I had to post the meeting if it was going to be approved or not. So it's very generic as far as town meeting recap and repair project.
I'm
But
super happy that our timeline going forward is not let's start over.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
We are good to go.
And I also think the town should give the library an award for bringing so many people to the meeting for
It
so
was a
long.
lot. It was good. It was really good. The turnout was great.
It was amazing.
All right. Obviously, in the coming months, there'll be a lot of updates from the LBC, but we'll leave it at that for now. That will bring us to community outreach.
Okay, so it's going really well. We gave a talk at Walker Meadow a week or so ago. 40 people came. It was really exciting. And they were really interested. I'm telling them about the programs. Maureen had a really fun library trivia game that made them laugh and taught them some cool things about the library that they didn't know. And then Bob Berticelli did the repair project because Ed was traveling. And I thought one thing that was really interesting was, when I'm talking about, they'll say, but is this free? When I tell them all the fabulous programs that we have, they're amazed at what we're offering, and then it's like, but don't we have to pay to register? You have to pay? And so, it's really valuable to let them know that, no, you don't have to. This is your library. It was fun. When we asked them how many of them saw our social media posts, one person raised her hand. So they have an email letter that goes out called the Buddy Letter. And so now Sarah will be emailing all our flyers to them, and they'll get all our flyers in their letter so that they'll have them and they'll know what's going on. So
Great.
Interested about the museum passes to take their grandchildren. It was good. So April 2nd, we're doing the Civic Club at the at
Cold Harbor.
Cold Harbor, yeah. And Senior Center may be April 26th. We're going to do monthly talks at the Senior Center. We have May and June booked, and we're negotiating for a date for April again. May 9th is the Interfaith Clergy. And then, who knows, I'll be looking for other places. And then we can kind of think about ways that we may do some events in the community. Some of them might not start right away, but that intergenerational story time music thing, I've been talking with Bernadette about that to see, if we could maybe do that in the fall at the Senior Center. Maybe that would be something that would go around town in different places. So it's kind of exciting. Since some of the seniors don't drive after dark and can't get to our library events, maybe in the winter we could do some events at the Senior Center. That might be a good thing.
Janine, sorry, can you just repeat the dates?
April 2nd, Civic Club, Senior Center, I think April 26th, and then May and June. May 9th is the Interfaith Clergy. And that's because when we did the Senior Center the first time, and they want our flyers posted at the Senior Center because they don't use computers either, many of them. And then someone said, well, why don't you post your flyers at our churches? And so Maureen's gotten in touch with the Interfaith Clergy, and we're going to go talk to them and about how we can partner with the churches in town to get our events out. I think that'll be cool. And then we talked about a Get to Know Your Library event that we feel that we would love, but funding might be an issue for that. And I'm wondering if maybe we could partner with funding sources like the Friends or the Civic Club, who might help us pay our librarians to stay on a Sunday. I don't know if that's possible. I'm new at this, so we'll talk about it to see see if there's a way that we can invite people to the library and do a thing where we tell them about all of our
Well, that's kind of
events.
what we do for open house. That's the whole like mission of open house is education and about like having a fun time and
So maybe we could just add some centers to talk about our programs, because I don't think that's
Yeah.
part of it. So maybe we could, if it's okay to add that, and I didn't know if that was okay.
I mean, it's something as we go through the planning, but we've had like passports in the past where they go and they listen to what Tony's got to offer and
Okay.
talk about adult services. So it really is all about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
yeah.
maybe we could add just some things about about how to use the website and things like that to it, and that would just be fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then we don't need funding. I love that.
No,
That's
we
much
don't.
better. Much better.
Just-
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions about community outreach?
Do you ever need any assistance with that, or
So far not, but
Okay.
if you would be interested, I'd be happy to.
put me in mind?
Okay, that would be fun.
Sure.
That would be fun, yeah. It's really fun because people are just so amazed at what we're doing that it's pretty fun.
We have a few more events in that the library is taking part in. On April 11th, we're doing an event at the Knights of Columbus with ESL parents and families. They're having a dinner, and we're going to be having a table there to talk about conversation circles and just resources that we have at the library. We'll be able to open up cards, and we're gonna hopefully snag some books to pass out to kids and stuff. And then, the first week of May is Unplug Week, and we do an event booking it to Bay State, where we have a table down at Bay State, and it's a family kind of picnic opportunity to read. They do a story time, and we have book giveaways and, promote our services. And then
Do we have a date for that?
I want to say it's May 9th.
And what is
But
that called again?
It's called Booking It to Bay State.
Yeah, I remember to do that.
Yeah, and it's usually rained out the first week, so. But, and then the last is Touch a Truck, which is also called Love for Lifesavers, and it's at the Methodist Church. And we're going to be signing people up for summer reading, because
That's
it's
a
usually
great place
like
to do it, yeah.
preschool to like age 8-ish.
What is the date of that one?
That's on June 13th.
And you're gonna be doing what at that?
We've had a table there for the past 4 years, and we bring all sorts of materials and sign up for summer.
June 13th.
June 13th, yeah.
It's a great event.
Yeah, it is. The kids are like, and they like swag, so we bring something for them. Who doesn't?
I have a TV show on Westborough TV called Kaleidoscope, and with Tracy and with Maureen's blessing, we're doing the day in the life of a book, and the day that it's appropriated, the money goes out, the book arrives, and follow it through the whole system. Everyone who touches a book from the time someone puts it on the shelf and I take it out, recharge it, and then I bring it back.
I love that.
And so it's a way to show the public what jobs are behind the scenes, what they don't
Yes.
see, and they just assume the books materialize and they're on the shelf. But also, we could have a little piece at the end about the outreach that's going on.
Yeah.
Because that would, you would just come in, we could take that separately and squish it right at the right place, so that we have different voices and different age groups saying, come and watch, come follow your book.
I love
On that
that.
show.
Great, thank you.
When is the show?
It's on every day of the month, and there's a new one every month. So this month that I'm taping tomorrow is for nonprofit managers. Last month's was with Kate Donahue. We took a walking tour of the Capitol and talked about politics and political service, public service, and the difference. And we walked around and made sure we were beside all the women's statues because it's Women's Month. The first one was about media, and David Bagdub and Karen Henderson were the guests, and we talked about local news, and then Chris Tanaka from the National, we talked about how do we decide what goes on TV for the region, and then you get like, if someone gets arrested for being drunk driving a school bus, then you get on. So, so that's been really, and we're great to have Lynn and her daughter, and another older woman who was also in the Army in the earlier times. Anna, what was her name? You know, she's very old and she was in the service. I can't remember her name on yet. But they're going to be talking about the changes for women in the military. So I have a whole list of interesting things. So if anybody has an idea about the library, we can always put in a little, and by the way, come and see.
Do you know when you're going to do the day in the life of a book?
Yes, in June.
Okay.
No, wait a minute, you're June. That was going to be September when school starts.
Okay.
So it's a big book and a kid's book. And, maybe we could even get a little kid to walk around with the book. That would be so cute.
So that's going to be like the episode for September?
Yeah, that's it.
That's terrific. Thank you so much.
So yeah,
That sounds exciting.
sounds cool. Done by our wonderful
We love Westborough TV.
You know, I'm not turning around, so TV.
All right. So that brings us up to strategic plan update. I'm going to turn that over to Lynn.
I passed out the agenda for May 1st, and so Deb Hoadley, who is our consultant, she wanted to wait until the public forums were over and the staff forum before she met with trustees. So she's planning to do it on May 1st, and it will be by Zoom, and move to post that meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
So we do have to post it, and because there will be a quorum and we will be deliberating.
Yeah.
I'll take care of posting it.
Okay. And I'll resend this to you by email. I just wanted to give you all a heads up and to let you know what the process is going to be for that evening. She was here last week. We did a staff meeting, and then Deb led us through the exercises. I think they take ownership of the process when they're really involved, and it was a really good experience. Anecdotally, I heard that the evening meeting was a little contentious at times, but we had good input from our teens, our awesome teens, and from a wide segment of the population, I guess. And they're gonna do it again. They have part 2 planned for April 11th. And Deb told me that she has a very strict agenda that she's going to follow because they're not getting off topic.
And what is Deb's name again?
Deb Hoadley, it's right up at the top there.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the issues was they kept getting off track talking about other issues affecting the town and straying away from the library. And she was having to keep bringing them back.
And how many
bringing
groups
them
did she talk with? She talked with
staff, and then she talked with, this group is, I think there were 13 there. Yeah.
13 staff.
No, townspeople.
Townspeople,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
Oh, and we also have a small steering committee that is Maureen, department heads, and Kate has joined that. So, and we also met to kind of do an overview of what was going on. So we are well underway. We will have our plan by trustees meeting in August or September. So that we can get it into the state by October 1st. Which is our deadline.
So what is beginning on, you started by saying May 1st?
May 1st is the trustees
our
meeting.
meeting.
Your
Okay.
meeting with Deb Hoadley, and that's what this agenda is.
Got it.
Yes. And I wanted to give it out ahead of time so you know what the expectation is. And I'll resend it with a reminder, so, and let you know when it's posted.
It's very exciting. And the things that came out of the staff one were fantastic. So I can't wait to see what trustees come up with. Deb is wonderful. I love working with her. And I
She's
think
done a
you
great
will
job
too.
in the past, so I'm
Yeah.
excited to see the next process with her. All right, any questions about the strategic plan? All right, that brings us to setting meeting dates for April.
And the other thing that I forgot to add that we could talk about here is our realigning of the board.
So we had pushed that to April.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll make sure it's on the
Yeah,
agenda.
let's put that under next agenda, just because we had talked at the last month that I always felt it was strange that the same night we welcome new people, we realign the board. I just want to give people a chance to see what a meeting is like and whether or not they might want to have a different position on the board, so.
Okay.
And chiropractors are not involved. Tell me you're realigning the board.
Oh,
I hear
I
chiropractors.
was like, where are we going with that one? It took me a minute
I
to
find
get on
that
board.
confusing, that just
Yes.
not immediately obvious to me what realigning us means.
So we have, just so everyone knows, we have chair, vice chair, which was Karen, so Karen, that position is, well, they are all vacant, well, up for grabs. Chair, vice chair, treasurer, recording secretary, and corresponding secretary. Currently, Dot is corresponding secretary, Deb is Thank you. Recording secretary. Ed is treasurer and has expressed interest in stepping down from his position as his commitment with the library building committee is very strong. Karen has stepped down and emptied that position, and then myself. So if you are interested in any of those positions, please email me solely, and then I'll put together a slate, and then we will talk at the next meeting. We'll realign it. Anyway, back to setting meeting dates. So typically, we meet the fourth Wednesday of the month at 7:15. Does anyone have direct conflicts with that date in general?
No, I'm just glad it's back to 7:15.
Yes, tonight was an exception because our state reps have another meeting that they're going to recognize other people at 7:30. So we just figured that would give us a little more time for them to get across
I
town.
shut the kid out in the parking lot of where we live.
Yeah.
I hope your father's here.
Yeah.
Get it.
So 7:15. Yeah, we were finding 7 was just a little too tight for a bunch of us, so 7:15 it is.
Okay.
So if everyone is in favor with keeping the Wednesdays, we will keep that. And then let's just do a quick look through the months to make sure there's nothing conflicting. So that would be April 24, May 22nd.
April 24, you said?
Correct.
May
May
22nd.
22nd, June 26th, July 24th.
And July, for those of you who are new, we hold that date. We don't typically meet in July unless there's something that is pressing that we need to have a vote on. Otherwise, I will let you know that the meeting is canceled for July.
Typically, in the past couple of years, the only thing that's come up is library building committee stuff. We did have a meeting once on that, but August 28th. First day back at school.
Do we need to move that earlier? Or later?
You want to move it earlier.
Earlier, it's in your summer vacation, but.
I don't like any of those options.
It's already going to be a day anyway, so why not just keep on going? But I appreciate that.
I feel like summer vacation went so fast. I don't like, it's already gone.
September 25th.
25th?
Yep. October 23rd. November, I'd like to propose that we go a week early because the 27th is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So November 20th, if that's okay with everyone, it's just a week earlier. All right. And then the same thing with December, since the 25th would be the fourth one. So December 18th.
When does school start in August? Is that
The 28th.
The 28th.
Oh, that's okay. I think that.
Teachers go back, at least here in Westborough, on that Monday, so it's already a work week. January 22nd. February 26th. And March 26th.
March 26th.
6. Yep. I don't see any other holiday conflicts or anything like that in those dates, so. If that sounds good to everyone, I will take a motion to accept those dates as read. Thank you. And I'll have someone second it.
I'll second.
Who's second?
All in favor? Anyone opposed? That's 700. Okay. Fabulous. Thank you so much. That brings us up to open items list. Let's see. Every time I lose, I'm like, let's see what I can do. Suggestion box. We just did that, so that is still ongoing. We will keep that ongoing. Get to know library staff. Has everyone filled out their Google link bio?
I think that's actually something
No,
different. The
It's
bio is
something
listed.
different, but
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
that's something that I'm working on, so that's ongoing.
Okay, so that's ongoing. We'll
Yep.
get back to that one.
Mhm.
Candidates night is done, so we can remove that from,
Oh, yeah.
that was very successful.
It was.
I should ask you all, actually, your input on, did you think it was, we're talking about the library trustee candidate night, and what your input was on the night. Did you think it was helpful? Did you like participating in one that was separate for ours? Like, what's your feedback from that night?
I think it's really important to have one separate for ours. I think that's important. And I think, given the number of people that showed up, I think they also really cared about having one just for the library. Yeah, it went well. The questions were really good, and it was well set up, well organized. Thank you.
I agree. And it's also, it's, because the candidates forum is just, it's so quick. You know, it's so many people and so quick, so it was good to, and I thought the turnout was amazing. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was 68 people.
Was it?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was awesome. So it's kind of like the beginning, I feel like it's kind of the beginning of the election and town meeting cycle, is we're gonna have people, you know.
Well, as a new person,
To get going.
it was eye-opening to see the diversity of the opinions of people that were running, that to see the reactions of the town to comments that I made or that anyone else made afterwards, when I think I'm still sort of in witness protection, people don't really know who I am, stopping me and saying, I know you, you're Mary Botticelli, right? And I was like, yes. And saying something that they had heard that I said that they either agreed with or said that they didn't, and that's fine. But it was a nice way to initiate going to a larger group, because talking in front of people isn't an issue, it's rather knowing the format and what to expect from the groups. And I thought that the people were, the questions they asked were very insightful, as opposed to how do you feel about, you know, poor family. That was there, but it wasn't the initial thing. You know?
Right.
And so I found that to be, and a nice preparation for when you went to another time when there were more candidates there. But I think that we took over the show because there were so many of us.
So that's good feedback to know too, to have it, maybe if we do it again, if there's another contested race, make sure we do it before the town one as like a start.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was nice that we had so many people, but the level of engagement is what impressed me.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, there was, some was polite, some was a little more, I would try more forceful than polite, but there was good give and take. I thought the audience was exactly the kind of people we'd like to see being enthused about the library.
Yeah.
So I thought it was almost the process itself was self-affirming. So
Good. Well, to hear that. Great. That's good to know. All right. So
you have 3 people who participated in this who often don't like to participate in this, and we're giving you positive feedback. So that's pretty good. You did a pretty good job.
I think I know a few people that are like, yes, give me a candidate night. But it is a good process, it really is. Okay, getting to know library status yet. If you haven't submitted a bio and photo, but potentially, have you sent the link?
I sent it to everyone.
Okay, great. If you haven't done that yet, I'm like getting myself pat back because it's been months and I finally did one. For being a slacker. Please do that so that we can wrap up that process. And
I believe I did long ago. Can you confirm that I did? I mean, I did it a long, long time ago.
Every month I was
2
like,
months
oh
ago.
no.
I forgot it every month too, I did it recently.
Me too. I was like, I need to do this now.
And I had to have my brother-in-law in the Netherlands crop a photo he took of me last year in the train station of Rotterdam because I didn't have a photo that was appropriate.
That was the hardest part.
Well, since I'm in witness protection, you know, I don't have any pictures. But I did crop one with my husband. We celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary last week,
Oh,
2 weeks ago now. And we went back to the church to review just the two of us. And we took a really nice picture. So I emailed it to my son. I said, could you crop down?
Is there something?
I look really nice in this picture. And he said, 50 years and you're cropping them out. I said, I'm done. But thank you for doing that. That was very interesting.
Putting you on the spot. I received responses from Dot, Mike, Mary, Jay, Kate, Deb, and Janine.
Yes. I can't figure out how to put the picture in. That was my next thing.
Okay. And we need Ed.
I did it all, but I don't know how to get.
Ed gets a pass because he's been away. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what I'm doing with those, they come into my spreadsheet, and then I'm making a page in the online trustees manual so that you all, it's for you, and then we'll talk about later if I should put it on the website.
Okay.
And that's why I just wanted like a 3-sentence bio. I didn't want like paragraphs.
So can she email you the picture then if it's just?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just
of course.
email your picture to Mary,
Yeah.
to Maureen and
Just
then
email
you
it
can
to
hit
me.
submit on the,
There's always a way.
My son sent it on text, so I will figure it
Or text it to me.
Text it
Do
to
you have my
me.
number, right?
out.
Yeah.
I just have some days where I still can't sign in to that second piece about conflict of interest. I did it all up, I hit, and it just came back and said, no. Hit it again to start, nothing.
when I
Just
did my
come in-
last one, I had a lot of issues with that glitching as well.
Yeah.
So I don't, that one I don't think is
Maybe come here when you have
Yeah.
time to, and do it here.
Okay.
Because I don't think I can.
Yeah. it's
Okay.
not long.
Fabulous. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much.
Quarterly newsletter, I'm assuming that's still ongoing.
yeah.
Fabulous. And then bird display. Ed's not here, but nothing else has happened with the bird display. But he did say that we could have a tour.
Woo-hoo!
So
Okay.
Ed will reach out with more info on the bird display. So do you know what the bird display is?
Yes, and I have a comment about that.
So
That's
Um,
serious.
at the bottom of the ramp, there's a display of birds that was donated to the library. And the conversation got brought up during the library building committee. What happens with that, and is it safe to move because it's from the 1900s? And it was like, well, we should probably figure out what was, because the arsenic was definitely used during the preservation of those. So Ed has taken it on to research, and he's talked to all sorts of people about what to do with the bird display. So.
And
And they were
also,
donated by the guy who started Audubon, the Audubon Society.
Yes.
So it's a big deal.
yes, and he killed those birds just to stuff them for displays. But it, as an environmentalist, it is not a good look for a library to have birds who were deliberately killed to be stuffed for humans to view, besides being a health hazard. And hazmat can help you with that, because we've had a lot of things when I was running the horticultural environmental nonprofit that we found in the attic that said, oh my God, you know, we can't even open this.
It's like the owl we found.
Yes, hazmat can help you with that.
Okay.
Those companies who do hazmat.
And the Ecotarium is working on it with
Yes.
us.
The
So they're restoring
Yes.
the separate, there's a
There's
second
another
set.
one.
They're restoring the other set of it, and then when we figure out what
He's
we-
figured out what it would take if we needed to redo the big one.
And then
what to
it
do.
has to have a special kind of case. So
Right,
that
but
it's
you might think your ethos about having birds deliberately killed for display as part of a library of education of animal cruelty, other things. So it's just
I
a
think
bad look.
our public would revolt if we got rid of this.
So
Yes.
shockingly, so this is
Yes.
what we've learned, actually. And actually, Ed did a nice write-up, and I'll make sure we send it out to you as well, is that, I'm gonna get the names wrong, but it was a gift given to the library, so there is some policies around what we can do with gifts that were gifted. So we have to follow the letter of the law to what we can repurpose that. But then that there are people that come here regularly to visit them.
it was donated by Forbush, the man who started the Audubon
I know,
Society.
yes.
And so
I
they,
know.
there's a following for this. A big following.
It's been eye-opening, to say the least, but I will forward that information on, but this is a great aspect to bring into this conversation, because that's a piece we haven't had, that point of view isn't one we've had before, so this is great to have this in this topic, because this is all, like, so right now we're just, if we had to do anything, what would it take, and what can we do, is it even safe to, like, at this point, like, it's a do not touch moment, and so, but it will need to be touched, because it will need to be moved when we move forward, so, a lot of good information. But I'll send the info so that you guys can get caught up on what Ed has gathered as information so far, and then we can add to the conversation. But Ed is way more knowledgeable than that. But in this, the lovely gentleman at the Ecotarium took Ed on a tour of the back laboratories of all the animals, and we were like, we want to go, and he said he would let's go back there. So
We're gonna get a field trip.
we're gonna get a field trip to the Ecotarium.
And I just want to say, even though I have done almost nothing other than take notes, take the minutes, it's been Ed who's doing most of this. I'm very proud of us for dealing with this, because it's been something that's been hanging over our heads for a long time, and we are doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of us.
I mean, other than the building project itself, I think the bird display is probably the longest ongoing conversation.
It's just been there and been there and been there, and we are moving on it.
I never saw that.
And whatever comes of it, still don't know exactly yet, but we're doing it. So.
Never saw it coming, but that, anything else for the, I'm going to put the strategic plan on the.
Yes,
Yeah,
good idea.
Yeah, okay. And Maureen, I'm gonna put you, or should I put Lynn, or?
Put Lynn.
Okay. Okay. Nope, I should spell that right. Okay, fabulous. That, anything else for the open items document? No. Great. That brings us to our secretary's report. Approval of February minutes. We do 1, 2, 3,
Do we have enough?
4, 5. Can all 5 of us vote on it? Were you at the February? We cannot vote on it, so we're just gonna table it till next month.
Okay.
All right. Oh, I was gonna make a suggestion on the bird tour.
Yeah.
We should invite Jim and Karen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Jim was very interested. Yep, sounds good. Okay. Treasurer's report, we can all vote on. We can all vote on the treasurer's report. Everybody can vote on the treasurer's report. It is in front of you. But if you need a copy, we have one out, otherwise it's in the drive.
Okay, for our new trustees, the sections that are highlighted in pink are our library materials items, which are, I put down below. They're part of our expense budget, but they're special in that they have to always equal 15% of our total budget.
And that's a requirement for us to get.
And that is our accreditation requirement.
So the other important thing to know is we have to spend those down to 0 by the end of the year.
Which is June.
June 30th.
Yeah, June 30th.
I'm sorry, is that they have to equal 15%? Or they have to equal, they have to be less than 15
They
or more
have
than
to
15?
be a minimum of 15%
Minimum.
of our bottom line in order to maintain our certification with the state.
So right now we're at 66%, and I mean, we're pretty much on track. We have a lot of online resources that renew in June.
Yep.
So I'm very confident that we will have that money spent. And we're actually great with our book budget this year, which I'm super happy about. During COVID, it took a long time for publishers to publish or print their materials, so it was really difficult. So now we're back to normal. The other item that I want to talk about is our HVAC. We had another pump fail.
The second one?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we've gotten estimates, not the second one, but the first one.
Oh, the first one.
But we had replaced one last year, so I called it the second one, but.
Gotcha, okay.
So the estimates
That's the
came
one we
in.
talked about last month. the
Right,
related
so,
assessments.
yeah, so the rebuild estimate was like $5,900, but a new pump, we have come to learn, is 4,900. So,
Let's do that.
and they're trying to find out, they'd given us a leeway of 28 weeks, which was not acceptable, and Maureen got them down.
It's half a year.
Yeah, it's,
We would
It's
be
back
in,
into the winter.
we would be in heating season already. I was like,
Cannoli.
you're kidding me.
I'm sorry,
So-
is this a standard part or is this a custom part?
this is a 50-year-old pump. It's so,
Everything is difficult.
So it's going off to a machine shop, not to a vendor?
well, that is if we rebuilt it, but we're looking
Right.
for a new pump because
Because
it
we have
doesn't
two
make any
pumps,
sense.
right?
Yes.
So we're operating on, just so everyone is aware, we're operating on one of the two pumps. If that pump were to fail, we would have to close the line because we wouldn't be able to have.
Or hot water. Yeah.
So we're crossing fingers on this one. That's a long lead time to be on one pump.
Yeah, and so they're looking into
Yeah. What they can do.
what they can do for us.
Okay.
So that takes us to, we're already in, we got our first installment of our maintenance plan for this next time. And I put that in this week, which puts us in the red, officially in the red.
Yeah.
We have another one of those due, which is about $2,000, plus the pump. Basically, we're going to wait until
At
June
this point, we
1st
might need
to ask for a reserve fund transfer, because we
Yeah.
don't want to go back and
Right.
forth to them.
between the two budgets.
And the other thing that I talked to Maureen about is that we're going to possibly have a little extra in our fuel and oil item, because we had a very mild winter,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
um,
yeah. I see
I'm
that.
predicting that we'll have about 5% in our salary and wages
Yep.
that we may be able to transfer within those
Okay.
items to cover that cost.
There's a procedure we have to follow to move money from the salary and wage
Yeah.
side to the expense side. And we can do that, but not till later in the year. So we'll just wait till, like Lynn said, like early June.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to tell exactly where we're at with that.
Plus, we have to
What
switch
we're
over
gonna need.
to air conditioning, and we want to make sure that
Okay,
that's
air
actually gonna
conditioner
work.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, is this an internal accounting procedure we're talking about, or is this a town mandated procedure?
So if we run out of money, and what we're talking about is asking for a reserve fund transfer from the finance committee, if we need to. But if there's enough money left in the salary and wages, that's a different procedure that we have to do with the town.
Town procedure.
That, but as it is right now, these, like, some are negative and some are positive. That's internal within our accounting. We can do that on the expense side. We
So
just
anything in
can't-
this green expense side, we can move around as
We
long
can,
as our
yeah.
ratio of these pink lines stay the same?
Yeah, we don't touch.
From the blue side, we can draw from up top to move down if we need, and we have it, but then we have to get approval and do the process through town.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
That's so complicated.
It is
Oh my gosh,
complicated.
and you're babysitting ancient equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's depressing every day to hear that, oh, there's a new noise. And it sounds really expensive.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we should be aware of?
Other than that, we're actually
Yeah,
doing great
everything's
this
right
year.
on.
We're
Yeah. That's good. Anybody planning on traveling out of state?
I'm not
Conferences?
sure if I'm gonna do the ALA conference or not, because this year, the Mass Library Association Conference is in Framingham,
Yeah.
and I wanna see how many staff wanna go to that, because we haven't, as a group, as a whole, been to a conference in quite a while.
Yeah.
So I want to give them the opportunity. I want to make sure we have enough money to do that. So I'm on the fence right now, because the conference is the last couple days of June and the first couple days of July.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it spans 2 fiscal years,
which
which is super complicated.
Why
And
would they pick those dates?
because the whole rest of the world has been on summer vacation at that point. Like, that's the middle of summer for them.
And for us, it's the very beginning.
I know, but
And
isn't
everybody-
everybody's fiscal, like,
No,
Some
a lot
start
of
in
them are,
October, some are
yeah,
calendar, yeah.
October 1st or January 1st, so it's just us, we're special. It's in San Diego also, which could be on the pricey side.
Yeah.
So I'm just holding off registering until we figure out what we're doing with MLA.
So that would be an
That makes sense.
example where you could trade from the out-of-state travel to the in-state travel.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly.
all right. If there's no other questions on the treasurer's report, I will take a motion to accept.
So moved.
And I'll take a second on that.
Second.
Go for it. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. No one's abstaining, 700. Terrific. Okay, that brings us up to Friends and Foundation. Just on the foundation side, as you heard, Jim Ball got up at town meeting and spoke to the foundation's commitment to contribute to the project. We put out an email to them to set up a date for Jim and I to, Ed and I, to sit down with them and just touch base.
Was that who spoke?
Jim Ball. He's
B-A-L-L?
B-A-L-L. Yep, he is one of the chairs of the foundation. So I will keep you posted on that. Any friends update? What's the friends doing these days?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything.
They just had
Their last book sale was
sale.
fantastic.
Yeah,
And
on the 9th,
The next one's the 13th.
it's coming up April 13th.
April 13th.
And that's their last one indoors for a while. Then in May, they go outside. So
Love it.
that would be great.
Okay. Fabulous.
Oh, I should ask.
Yes.
Since I've been a friend for eons, does this change the status of not being a friend?
No, you can be both.
Okay.
No, but would you like to be our liaison to the friends as well?
Oh, they already know me as the liaison to everything. But yeah, I have to sort books, the kind of comps. Give me the
You
whole
can keep
pile
us
of.
updated on what is happening over there.
Well, yes, we've had a lot of conversations about this.
That's-
Yes.
Yeah, no, you can totally.
Okay. I wasn't sure I
No, I
was.
appreciate it.
No.
In fact, we encourage trustees to be members of the Friends too.
Well, I originally had
Show
been
their
on
support.
the foundation board because I'm a professional grant writer and development person when you were doing the material about the building. And having done a capital campaign and where I saw they were in the process of their capital campaign in which the library was called out at one of the meetings, why didn't you start raising money before this? I just couldn't take their constant reminder that I was not a person who lived here very long, so I shouldn't be so fast. But 2 years before you announce the capital campaign, you should have money that you've already raised that says, look, we already have $1 million. But they didn't see that.
Okay.
So I just had to excuse myself. But that's another group that I would like to see what they're doing.
Yes.
Because I understand the language and the process. Having counseled people on how to do their nonprofit business and things and foundations, so.
Sounds good. Yes, hopefully we'll have an update from them for next month. Good stuff. Wow, we're flying tonight. Okay, next up is agenda items for next month's meeting. We have policy review / updates of the code of conduct policy. So that is in the drive. I'd like everyone to review it before next month's meeting because we've kind of pushed it off a few months, but we really are going to take a dive into the code of conduct policy. And the framework that we're looking at is meeting space, Zoom meetings, in public spaces, phone calls, that kind of, what are we allowing, what aren't we allowing, and when and where. So have that in your mind as you read through it, and we'll take it from there.
Is that going to be put into the
It's already.
April drive?
I will put it,
Yes,
yeah, I'll,
just shift it.
I mean, I know how to find it, but.
yeah, I'll put a copy in the April drive, the April folder
Thank you.
in Google Drive.
Excellent. Anything, and then I have Well, I just wrote April down, but what else did we say we were
We
going?
were going to realign the board.
Thank you.
And we were going to do February and March minutes.
Thank you. Clearly, my own notes are not helpful sometimes.
And while we were talking about policy, I just wanted to mention quickly that I am still working hard on the policy handbook overhaul, and I'm making progress, it's getting there. So my goal is to have it for the, I was about to say May, but I think for the June meeting, for like our last meeting of the fiscal year, because that was my goal for
Yeah.
this year, and it's a beast.
it is
Could you
nice.
just elaborate a little bit on
So,
what that is?
We have a master document that is our policy manual. And over time, we have updated and changed policies. And sometimes they get updated in the manual and sometimes not. And we have individual policies floating around in many versions and in a few different places. So my task for this year was to start fresh and do a new policy manual, group things together in a way that makes sense, and set up a process for when we update a policy in the future. Here are the steps. Here's where it lives. Here's where it needs to be updated, and here are the steps to follow.
So encompassing the entire policy about purchasing, policy about people coming in, policy about which books you're going to put on the shelf and what level the shelf. That's what,
Yeah.
the whole thing,
Yeah.
not just.
How to,
No, the
if
whole
you can
thing.
reserve
The
a
whole-
meeting room or why and
Right.
everything, a whole thing. So then, and then this way will make it more readily available to the public, to all of us, so that we can know.
And
that
we
this
really
is exactly
should
where to
be reviewing the handbook as the policy manual as a whole at least once a year, just so we've all read it and reapproved all of our policies at, by the end of the fiscal year. So I'll have a whole process.
Because I read the ones you've given me, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if there was another entity that I just didn't see. So policy is such an encompassing word.
It is.
Yeah. Right, so it's like, it's out there somewhere, but none of us have seen it all together. And that's
Yeah.
the goal, so that it can be accessible, viewable, and understandable by everybody. Okay, that sounds great. I like that time frame. Okay.
I was just gonna, I think a few meetings ago, I brought up the idea of maybe the trustees meeting, doing something with the library staff, just to kind of get to know them, and so I just gonna kind of bring that up again.
It's on the open items list.
Okay.
It's assigned to me.
That's
It's coming.
Get to know you.
I didn't catch the last thing you said, the last words you just said about you were trying to do this to meet with.
Oh, yeah, no, for the trustees to meet with the staff, the
To get
library
to know the
staff.
staff.
Just to kind of get to know the staff.
Oh, to get to know them,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, okay.
And I just wanted to bring up, I had two things brought up to me. One was the reading room, which I explained, all the reading room stuff. The other one, and that it will be returned should everything happen the way we hope it happens. The other one was somebody felt concerned that with all the changes in the book and the library and the room of things and room for the students and all of it, that we're losing book space. And I said, I don't know if we are losing book space, and that just felt concerned that the library might be, my interpretation was what she believed the library was. Okay, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that, so I thought I'd ask.
It's a great question.
Yeah, it is a great question. So the Room of Things didn't take over anything that was formerly book shelving. It was
It was like a mailroom or
It was a
something.
junk closet at one point. We had our staff mailboxes there when we had mailboxes. It was an office for a short period of time. Coat room. So we didn't lose book shelving. We just repurposed it into useful shelving. But yes, the print collection is getting smaller. And if you look at our statistics, our circulation of our books is staying fairly steady, but we are seeing a big increase in ebook and e-audio circulation. So we're trying to purchase with that in mind, to put as much money as we can into ebooks, knowing all the issues around ebooks that I've been explaining to all of you about, the tremendous cost for ebooks compared to what consumers pay and what libraries pay. When we do the project, the repair project, we will lose shelf space, and we're already thinking about how to move our collections around and how to downsize them to make sure that we're still carrying the things that people want and that they need, and maybe tightening up the length of time something sits on the shelf without being checked out, to help us kind of downsize that collection. One of the goals is to lower the height of the shelves in the project because they're so high. Mary and I have talked about this many times.
I can't reach the top.
We can't reach the top shelf, and it's difficult for people to use the bottom shelf. So right now we use a lot of the top shelves. We don't use the bottom shelves. But if you eliminate the top shelf, you're taking away shelf space.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to either find space, smush it all in, or we call it weeding. It's our library jargon for removing things from the collection in a kind of a scientific way, using data and statistics and that type of information. So yes, we will be most likely losing shelf space in that project, but that's expected.
Does the inventory system allow you to understand how frequently a book is taken up? That's great.
Yep. And on top of which, there is the interlibrary loan system, so the books that people are needing and wanting are still available, so it's just whether or not they're housed on our shelves here. That's a very healthy, ongoing system.
I use it a lot. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's literally, I was at a book club meeting on Thursday and I already have the book.
Yeah,
I think I
it's
got
so
it
good.
on Monday.
And I love the new search thing that, I don't know what you call it, but it's so much better. We don't have to scroll all the way to get to CW Mars. I'm just like, come on, just let us pick that. And now it picks it itself.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
You don't have to, it's so much easier. I like it.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of how much space, how much shelving space we're going to lose?
We don't know yet. That'll come out as we do the design development, and we'll work with the architects on that to figure that out.
Do you know, I mean, I imagine that there are books that almost never leave the shelves. Do you know, like, what percent of books just never get checked out, or almost never get checked out?
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. I'd have to pull some reports, but I would say that percentage is very low because our shelf space is so limited that if it's on the shelf, it's occupying valuable real estate.
Right.
And we need to make sure that it's something that people want and that they're going to check out. So we have.
Every book is loved by
I
someone.
know, I know. It's hard decisions sometimes. But the fiction, we were down to 3 years at one point, and then we went down to 2 years. And you can't really go much lower than that.
Yeah.
So that collection is about as tight as it's gonna get. But we keep an eye.
Great.
And Caitlin with her cataloging, because she was actually physically touching each book, she did a very aggressive weeding before she started the process. So.
I had another question that I forgot. Is it possible for us to get, at some point, an introduction into the new system? The new not Dewey Decimal
Yes,
system?
yes.
Yes.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
Maybe we can just have Caitlin come.
Yeah.
What was the question? I didn't understand.
Caitlin has redone the.
Oh, the
Nonfiction,
new-
yeah,
okay,
it's called
got it.
Subject Savvy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
I'd
name
love
of the
to see how
system.
that works.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Dewey.
Is that something that like library patrons need an explanation of, or is it because I haven't really explored it, or is it pretty self-explanatory?
It's pretty, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It will be once we get our signage done,
Yeah.
and that's very close.
I mean, for regular library users who are used to, I want my cookbooks, and they
Right.
want to be $6.50, like, they are gonna have a little bit of a learning curve, and you know, people don't like change, so, but once Caitlin explains it to them, they're like, oh, it makes sense. And I think if people aren't regular library users, it's so easy to use because everything is labeled by subject matter, and it's really easy to find things.
That might be something like a small workshop periodically to remind people. I probably already thought of that.
All right.
How about record it and then they could just go and listen to it?
That's
and
it.
Someone doesn't have to
Yeah.
come down, that poor woman, and keep telling the same people. Not that I have against anyone who doesn't catch on really quickly.
All right. Anything else? Under agenda items for next month, can we add back on the trustee issues?
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. I just like to have it on the agenda. Okay. It is, if there's nothing else that anyone has, at 8:12, do you have something?
I just was
Yeah,
gonna ask
go
one
ahead.
question. We got another email from someone about, an idea about the library and the senior center and all that.
Yes.
Do you respond to each one of those? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
I will respond to that. I have not yet,
Okay,
but I will
okay.
respond to
And
that.
I got a response to it because she copied me, so I saw it also.
Yeah,
And it was from Sean Keogh. I don't know if
Okay.
he responded
Not.
to everyone,
no.
but
I don't know what-
his recommendation, so maybe when you
Yeah, I
respond,
didn't see that
was
from
to
Sean.
send that to the select
The
board.
select, that was going to be my response,
Right.
was I was going to say this is actually more of a select board issue, and I will, if it's with their permission, to forward it on that way.
I just
Is
want to
that
make sure that
something that
people
we all
don't.
got?
Well,
It was
you
sent
know,
to the trustees.
It got sent to the trustees.
I just want to make sure that,
Um,
that people,
There
don't feel
is,
like they're.
Mary Mike's emails on the trustee, okay.
It was,
Then we're gonna need to update the library website.
Sorry that I'm just.
no, I just can't remember where. Oh, this one, Betty Kristen.
Betty.
No, that doesn't sound.
So-
It was sent to the trustees.
Oh, maybe they don't know us yet.
They do.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
I've
well,
changed.
this one is not sent to the trustees. My personal email address is on it, but I don't see
For
it.
Betty Kristen?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it through the trustees. It says
Oh, wait,
library
wait, wait,
trustees at
nope.
town.
No, it did go,
Okay.
her initial
Yeah.
one went straight to us with a CC to Maureen.
Oh, okay.
And I can just,
You're gonna forward this? to
yeah,
me?
just
I don't think
says,
I got it.
Oh.
Am I part of it?
You're on it.
and
It's not
then
showing up in my email.
from there, Maureen sent it to a bunch of people, including,
Oh, yeah.
Maureen sent it to the LBC, which Sean Key was a part of. I do not have Sean's response.
Okay, yeah, he might have just
So he
replied
must
to
have
me.
received. Okay. Then I will respond.
I'm
Basically,
gonna send the test.
she was asking that the town is expecting to have the seniors use part of the space on the first floor, and that would it be possible for the library to move into the community center? And it's my understanding from the reading of this that she was talking about just moving the library there.
Yes.
And leave this, and it says leave the seniors at 4 Rogers Road. So this is not, and she asked us to consider this option. That is not an option for us to consider. That is for the select board, so we will send that way. But yes, that is a great topic of conversation. When emails come into the library trustees, I respond back, just so you know, so that it is acknowledged. I try to respond to all, but if I don't, know that it is responded to. But my intent is to respond to all so that everyone is aware that it's been. We never debate over, most of us don't respond because then we're violating open meeting laws, so that falls under me to respond back to that.
I just sent a test email because Deb said she didn't get that to the trustees' email address, so.
Is it possible that I'm not included as part of that?
You should be, because
I have a note to myself to check with,
Yeah, double
I'll
check.
check with Mark tomorrow, because Mark Stockman manages that, and make sure. I'm sorry, Deb.
It's
I
okay.
don't know why
No, I
that's
just
happening.
felt badly that I didn't know what you were talking about.
I just-
So, and I'm just like, are there other things I've missed? I don't know. Who knows?
Just so you know, Julia's email just came through to me, so
Okay.
I've gotten it on my end.
I don't think mine has come through.
Okay, if there's nothing else, anyone have anything else? Then at 8:16, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?